When it comes to safe isolation, guys, of course you have to think about safety, okay? The first thing we have to be aware of is I have got power running up to this rig, okay? It is powered up, all right? Now, to carry out safe isolation, you need to have the proper kit. The first thing is that this City and Guilds, and of course the IET and everyone else, recommends that you use a voltage indicator. Okay, the beauty of a voltage indicator is it doesn't have any settings, so you can't set it incorrectly. It's designed for the purpose of safe isolation. That's its only real purpose, is to check for the presence of voltage. We're not bothered about whether it's 247 volts or 232 volts. We just want to know, is the voltage there or not? Okay, and that's what its purpose is. It's not really to measure voltage, just to check that it's there or not. So the first thing we have to have is a voltage indicator. You don't have to have a Martindale. There's a handful of manufacturers out there, but this is a really good one. Okay? The thing about it that's important is it has to be rated for the voltage that's above what you expect. Now this one is rated for up to 1,000 volts in AC. The most we're going to test is 230 or 400. So we're safe. Miles safe, aren't we? Okay? So we've got a series of lights on the front. The bottom two tell us whether it's AC or DC. The top four give us a range of voltage. So it tells us if we've got around 120 volts, around 230 volts, around 400 volts, or around 690 volts. And the top two we'll only really see if we start testing three-phase or looking at industrial type installations. Okay? But what we need is we need that. The other thing we need is the proving unit. And the nice thing with the Martindale pouch is they make it so that you don't actually have to remove the proving unit. It's got holes in the front which line up with the holes you need for your tester. Proving unit runs on a battery, so it's a safe way of testing this tester. You don't have to have a proving unit. You can use what they call a known supply. So if I had, I don't know, let's say I wanted to isolate the lighting circuit and the sockets were powered, I could put an adapter in the socket and I could prove it using the adapter. Personally, I've always preferred the proving unit. It's portable, it's under my control, and I know whether it's working or not. When you put the probes in, this little light here will come on to tell you that it's working. If that little light comes on, it tells you that the battery is getting low inside the proving unit. Now, how the proving unit works is it takes the small amount of voltage, steps it up through a little transformer inside, so it shows a higher voltage coming out. But of course, as you probably already know, when you step voltage up, you step the current down. So it's a safe way of testing. Although the voltage may be around 230 volts, or even more, the current is dropped down significantly, so it's in the milliamp range. So it's safe. Okay? So I'm going to take my tester and I'm going to check to see if it lights up. Okay, so it's lighting up. So the next thing that I need to do, some people would say it's the first thing to do, I need to tell my customer that I want to isolate. Okay, so I have to tell the people, if this was powering up a board which is powering up an entire building or several floors or even just one floor, if there's lots of other people in the building and I turn the power off without letting people know, I could be plunging people into darkness, I could trap people in an elevator, I could do all sorts of things that could be bad complications and implications of turning the power off. So let's assume that the customer said, yep, it's fine, you can turn the power off. I turn off my main switch, I prove my tester on the proving unit. I then need to be able to lock the switch in the off position. This little adapter is one of several types that are available. Quite handy piece of kit. Two little prongs here that we need to locate on the switch. When the switch is in the off position, there are some holes here just above. Okay, and I need to locate the prongs into the holes and then apply my padlock through the back with the warning label on it. Take the key out. What do I do with the key? Okay, I keep the key. Why do I keep the key? because it's under my control. I turn the power back on when I want the power to be back on. The problem you've got, the second you've turned that off and you've taken responsibility, it's your fault if anyone gets hurt. You become the duty holder. It's my responsibility now to look after this installation and make sure that everything's safe before the power goes back on. So don't put the key on top of the consumer unit. Don't give the key to your friend to hold on to. The padlock should only have one key that fits. If you have more than one key for that padlock, strictly speaking, you should destroy the other key. Some padlocks come with 2 keys. You should only have one that fits. Okay, so I'm going to put that in my pocket. Prove my tester on my proving unit. Okay, lit up, yeah?
Seen on YouTube the other, I was looking at Safe House a couple of weeks ago, and they had 2 sort of locks for like, I forgot which way they did it. They had one smaller lock and then a bigger lock for obviously your other people that potentially could be doing well.
Yeah, there's a lock adapter.
Yeah, you can put a
Yeah, I can show you what one of them looks like.
Handcuff type.
Yeah,
That's it. Where you can fit up to 6 padlocks on one of those. They're for more of an industrial, where I'm isolating a large isolator.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do it on this one, but on some of them, maybe I can fit one through that hole there and isolate that. Okay, so I've got my tester and I've proved that it's working. Now, I know that the power is coming in the top of the switch. I haven't affected that by switching the power off. But what I have done, hopefully, is stop the power coming out the bottom. That's how the device works. So, just the same as we do with other testing, always touch what you think is the safest first. Okay? Safest first, then the worst. Okay? So, I'm going to go on the neutral, and then I'm going to go onto the line. And I've got no lights. Alright? Fingers are behind the finger guards. So many people get in trouble when they do the safe isolation, where they hold the test like this, and they got their fingers running out here. Yeah? You're not drinking a cup of tea, right? You're testing. Keep your fingers well back. So, neutral to line, everything's good. Okay, neutral to CPC, everything's good. Doesn't matter where on that earth bar you touch. It's all one continuous piece of metal. Some people get hung up and think, oh, I've got to touch where it says earth over here. You don't. Anywhere on that metal bar will pick up the earth. Okay, so I've tested line to neutral, neutral to earth. Now what do I need to check?
CPC to the line.
Yeah, line to earth. So I'm going to go onto my earth bar, onto my line. Nothing's lighting up. Is that okay? We've done it. Okay, I need to go back and make sure that the fuse inside here hasn't popped. It could have popped when the first thing I did could have blown the fuse inside this. If I go back on here and I reprove it, I know that the test is still working, so therefore I can trust those results. Okay, now my power is off. Should be safe to carry out my work. Alright? Any questions on that?
Just one question. When I was looking at this YouTube thing the other day, there was an electrician, one of these electricians, I forgot which one it was, but they did safe isolation on the light. Can you do? Well, it looked like you were doing it on the light. You can on the light sort of like on the pendant.
They might have been proving it at that point. So maybe it was they wanted to isolate a light. Like if I wanted to isolate this light.
Yeah.
Yeah? So what I could do is I could isolate one circuit breaker.
Right.
And I could then go to the light and prove that I've isolated that light.
That's how you. Right. Okay.
That's all they would have done.